Hello everyone. In this video, we will deal with the contract management in complex projects. The goal is to discuss with you how to manage the purchasing activities within complex project settings, how to select specific contract model, and how to do an effective governance of it. When we are talking about complex project, we may think from building power plants to developing an IT and integrated IT system. So, when we deal with a complex project, often the purchasing is involved in two stages. The first one is before we are assigned the contracts. Therefore, think of me as an engineer company. I participate in bidding of the World Bank for building up a power plant in Indonesia. Therefore, what I do, I ask my purchasing department to go and select some potential suppliers and to give me some values for some specific part of the job. I put it all together and I bid. If I'm winning, I go back with the purchasing department to the selected supplier and do a second round. So typically, there is a pre-contractual stage where I've got an initial discussion with my suppliers based on the basic design and engineering and on the initial tendering stage. If I'm successful, I'll move into the contractual stage and we will go back to a detailed contract negotiation and we will close down. Sometimes suppliers complains about this double round because it is often a double round of negotiation where the first time I get a price and the second time I try to lower it further. In any case, after the contract is signed, the purchasing department as well as the suppliers are involved in the detailed project engineering and planning. Because the purchasing department needs to be very aware of the development of the project, so to be synchronized with the overall project. At this stage, there is a lot of subcontracting and procurement. Sometimes the suppliers are identified will need sub-suppliers and sub-sub-suppliers, and I may want to follow this process. In any case, I need to be sure that the delivery is very much synchronized with the project progress. Think about I don't want, if I'm developing a power plant in Indonesia and it's a gas turbine based power plant, I don't want my gas turbine arrive too early when I don't know where to put it. I need to put it in the middle of the bush where the gas turbine can deteriorate. I don't even have the gas turbine too late because this can delay the overall construction of the power plant. So I should look very much in synchronizing the delivery with the project execution. In many cases, there will be a critical phase of testing of the single components as well as testing of the subset, if not the overall project. And the purchasing is often involved in the contracts related to the maintenance and the guarantees. In fact, based on the way the contract is designed, I may find very easy managing the, the long-term operation of the project, of the power plant in our case, or I may find it very difficult and very costly. Then there is the post-contractual stage where all the operations has been done. There will be the final setting. Normally there will be some claims saying I've worked a bit too much with respect to what you asked at the very beginning, or vice versa, you didn't perform correctly. A certain level of claims is normal. It should be too big. And it varies, the complexity, whether based on the contract models that is used. In some cases, we'll engage our supplier in a construction-only contract. They need just to build up what we have designed. In some cases, there is design and construct, which means I just give the general specification, the design and the engineering is done by the contractor. In some cases, they will also be responsible for procuring. So not only design and construct, but also procure. In this case, the contracts are also often called EPC, engineering, procure, and construct. Sometimes the supplier is also asked to finance and maintain and even operate the project, let's say the power plant. This happens when the user, the owner of the project, the owner of the power plant, has not a strong technical and financial capabilities. This happens often when there is a sector that is being deregulated. Think about the electric utilities controlled by national players. They become deregulated. New players enter into the picture without much money, without much experience on a project financing base. In this case, the suppliers are asked to do very much. And in this very complex contract model, there are basically two major type of contracts: fixed price or cost reimbursable. Fixed price is clear. We agree on a price and that's it. The cost reimbursable as we agree on a certain use of resources, on a certain cost, and we will see at the end how much it costs. It's very rare that these two contracts type will be used as black and white. There are, in many cases, fixed price plus an incentive fee in order to give an incentives to our suppliers towards a strong performance, as well as we could have an agreement with price adjustment. So it's sort of a fixed, but there are some elements that can be adjusted depending on the, inflation, depending on the cost of some resources or other indexed elements. There is also unit rate contracts, which is used when contracts are repetitive. And in all these contracts, an important element is related to payment terms. Payment terms that may be done partially at the very beginning, partially at the reachment of given milestones, and they are in most of the cases guaranteed by banks. Well, making an effective governance of all this relationship is rather difficult, and it needs to take into account different aspects. First of all, the information flow. The information flow between the project manager, the purchasing department within the company, as well as from the project manager and the purchasing department towards the supplier, need to be transparent and smooth. The flow of goods and services should be synchronized with the progress of the project. The cash flow should be synchronized with the project of the process and should touch everyone from the main contractor down to the suppliers and the sub-supplier in order to make all of them running smoothly. And all this needs to be built up on very open and transparent relationships. Because at the very beginning of a complex project, I cannot foresee all the occurrences. Therefore, there should be a very good faith and collaboration on all sides. Suppliers, purchasing department, as well as the project manager.